There's a type of narcissist that is fast becoming one of the most dangerous ones in 2025. Not because they scream, not because they are cruel, and not because they are overtly nasty, but, my friends, because they are subtle, they're intelligent, and they're very empathetic seeming. And by the time you realize, you're already emotionally hooked. In today's video, this is what we're going to be unpacking, my friends. What makes this narcissist so dangerous, the traits that help them go undetected, and what you can do to protect yourself. Watch this video. Hello, my friends, and welcome back. It's so nice to be back. I know that I haven't done a video for quite some time, so thank you so much for bearing with me. But anyway, I was called to make this video, the most dangerous type of narcissist in 2025. This was actually, you know what? This information came from actually someone that I was having a conversation about, and they talked about this type of narcissist. And so I kind of felt like I have to make this video. I really have to make this video and let other people know. So this is what we're going to be talking about today. I really wanted to inform you so that you can see the signs. These signs are subtle, okay? And these types of narcissists, they blend in really well. And their signs are not easy to spot. They're really not. But there's certain things that you can kind of unravel, and this is exactly what I want to talk about in this video. Psychologists are increasingly warning about this type of narcissist. More specifically, their kind of psychological name is the covert cerebral narcissist. They are emotionally restrained, highly intellectual, often socially aware, and deeply manipulative without creating cause for concern. So yeah, these are the things that used to actually expose narcissists, so it's quite easy to spot the traits. But these narcissists are in reverse. Unlike the grandiose ones who are kind of like overt, they're the ones that are demanding attention. They talk a certain way, so it's easy to spot through their vocabulary and the words that they choose, the way that they speak. Because grandiose, like the opposite of them, they always talk about themselves. They get you to feel sorry for them. They're always like victim mentality. But this one in 2025, completely different, on another level. And their manipulative tactics are worse and they cut deeper. So this type of narcissist, what happens is that they seek admiration through pity, superiority that is masked as humility, and they have emotional control. They often, you know what, my friends, they often present as softly spoken, emotionally intelligent. They're usually really aware of themselves. Usually, like, their vocabulary that they use, they seem to be really emotionally aware. And the worst one is here is that they seem to be supportive. They listen to you, and they come across as supportive. But here's the catch. They don't need chaos to control you. They use withholding, silence, emotional guilt, and moral superiority. So let's have a look at the psychology behind the danger. These types of individuals, okay, they grew up in a really challenging dynamic. They were often unseen, unheard, not noticed. So they learned these skills. They learned how to go undetected, but they also learned how to get their needs met without being detected. Rather than becoming loud and entitled, you should do this, I'm going to punish you if you don't. What happens is they learned to adapt to feeling quietly superior. What they have done is they've developed a false self that looks like the ideal partner, the bestest friend, because what they do is they have learned how to adapt. They become adaptable to their environment because they've had to learn how to survive. In their childhood, because it was so difficult, they've had to learn how to survive these adverse environments. They're really good at mirroring. They're really good at mirroring your dreams, mirroring to be a certain person. They're really good at pretending to be there for you emotionally, to understand you, to give you exactly what you want. Because you see, they tap into your triggers. They tap into your wants, your desires. They see it. They want it. They become it. They use empathy, okay, fake empathy, not to be understanding, but to gather intel on you, to gather information on you. You see, this makes them really effective because you see, they understand then your triggers. They understand what makes you tick and what things affect you. This is why they then pretend to have empathy, but they don't. They don't, my friends. Their power lies in subtle control, passive aggressive comments that don't quite seem to be nasty, but if you really think about it and put it into context, yeah, they're nasty. They're going to affect you in some way. Like, for example, if you've always kind of thought that maybe you've had like a bigger bum or bigger thighs and you're not quite happy with your body, then they're always going to tap into, and they might say things like, oh, maybe those jeans don't look so good on you, or maybe, try a different outfit. What that does is that then makes you think. It makes you think that actually, oh, maybe this person doesn't really fancy me or like me in that way. Maybe, my bum or my thighs or my legs, or my body is not quite perfect. So it gets you thinking. But they don't actually say what it is specifically. They just make you think. They'll guilt trip you when you express boundaries. Now, remember what I always say in these videos or these shorts. I've always said, if you have to put boundaries in place, that means that that person, okay, is toxic, because you only have to put boundaries in with someone who doesn't respect you, who doesn't honor you, who doesn't have your best interests. So it's kind of like you have to tell them or show them how you should be treated. So these types of individuals are going to guilt trip you just because you have boundaries. And when you call them out, they're going to play the victim. Oh yes, my friends, they're going to make you second guess yourself and make you think that there is something wrong with you, that you have harmed them or upset them in some way. You know why? Because they're not going to take responsibility for their actions. So why, my friends, is this type of narcissist rising in 2025? Well, narcissistic abuse is growing. And that's the main thing, okay? Everybody is becoming aware, okay? Everybody knows about narcissism. I mean, look, my videos, the information on my channel, this has kind of exploded it's become really popular. It's not just my channel. There are other channels as well. So people are catching on to what a classic narcissist is. They know. So this type of narcissist has to up their game to not get caught. So the more manipulative narcissists are adapting. In 2025, therapy speak. This is everywhere, like boundaries, trauma bonding, emotional regulation. These are buzzwords. These individuals, you think they're not going to watch this video, they're not going to watch videos on narcissism to educate themselves? This is exactly what they are doing. More people are becoming trauma informed and are able to call out these behaviors because narcissistic abuse is becoming global. It's becoming well known. Also, 1st of June, literally just gone, World Narcissistic Abuse Awareness Day. It's even got its own day. That means it's a thing. It's official. Narcissists are going to know this. They're not going to be the classic narcissists of like 4 or 5 years ago when this information first came out. They're going to up their game to not get caught. So narcissists are learning the language of healing. And what they are doing is they're using it against you. All of these topics, they're trending on social media. They're going to get their hands on it. They're going to understand it. And what this means is that they become the safe space narcissist. They say the right things. They quote Brené Brown's quotes, mention trauma, talk about inner work. That makes you believe that this person is emotionally aware and they actually maybe are doing the inner work to heal. Because let's face it, a lot of us have had trauma in childhood, okay? Everybody, literally, and this is so sad to say, literally 85 to 90% of people have had quite a challenging upbringing, or there's something that has happened in their childhood. So narcissists as well, they're going to be talking about this. But what happens is that their behavior doesn't match their words. And that mismatch, that is what you've got to look out for. Someone who says something, but then their behavior doesn't match it, that is what you've got to look out for. That's where the danger lies. And that's where it becomes harder to detect. So these are the red flags that you've got to know about. Number 1, they listen to you deeply. But then what happens is they're going to use all of this information against you. They will subtly belittle your growth whilst boosting theirs. They will make you feel guilty for having needs. They will weaponize words like boundaries trigger wounds against you. They love to be the expert, but they hate to be questioned. They'll never yell, they'll never shout at you, but they'll never make you feel good enough. They always will make you feel like there's something wrong with you. Do you know, this isn't about one mistake or a flawed person. This is a pattern of behavior that leaves a discomfort and leaves you confused, insecure, and dependent on that person's validation. So it's about looking at certain patterns of behavior. It's not just one thing. It's not just a couple of things. It's kind of the whole rounded package. This person from day one has never made you feel good. And if they did, it's been really intermittent, or you've had to earn it. So it doesn't mean that it's real. So what do? How do you protect yourself from someone like this? The number one key defense is self-trust. And I always say this, my friends, connect back to yourself. This is the book that I'm writing as well. The connection to self is because you trust yourself. That is your defense. Ask yourself, do I feel confused or often confused while speaking with this person? Do I second guess myself more now than I did before? Are they using healing language but avoiding accountability? Here I would say is trust your inner signals, your gut, your intuition, because it's never going to be wrong. If a person makes you feel a certain way, trust that, okay? Trust your gut. This connection to yourself, all right? This is what is important. This is the antidote to all of the narcissism, to everything that I speak about. This is the real healing, is self-trust, is believing in yourself, is understanding yourself. Because it doesn't have to be challenging. When you know yourself, when you trust yourself, this is the key. This is what is going to help you. Sometimes it will look like care, but it's cruel because it leaves you second guessing yourself. If this video resonates, don't ignore that inner knowing. And if you want help untangling any of this, check out my links for one-to-one, mentorship program, and healing sessions. Like, comment, and share this video, guys, because you never know who is going to need to hear this. Stay safe, stay wise, and thank you so much for joining me, watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.